North Korea is often seen as a caricature, isolated, mysterious, and almost fictional. The regime's grip is absolute, shaping every aspect of daily life and blurring the line between citizen and servant. While the world's attention is elsewhere, Pyongyang tightens its control, sealing borders and curating reality for its people. For most North Koreans, the outside world is a rumor, their universe small and fiercely guarded. This story isn't about politics, but about the daily struggles of ordinary people, farmers, students, and soldiers living under relentless control. Through rare glimpses and defector accounts, we'll explore what life is truly like in late 2025. To understand North Korea, we must look beyond the spectacle and see the reality imposed on its people. In North Korea, the state decides your job, your home, and even your meals. From the moment you are born, nearly every aspect of your daily life is determined by government policy, leaving little room for personal choice or ambition. Work assignments are based on family loyalty, not personal choice, locking people into roles for life. Generations often follow the same path, with children inheriting the social status and occupation of their parents, regardless of their own dreams or talents. Food rations are meager and can be cut off as punishment, making survival a daily struggle. Even basic necessities like rice and cooking oil are distributed by the state, and families often go hungry if they fall out of favor or fail to meet quotas. Movement is tightly restricted, travel permits are rare, and military checkpoints keep people isolated. Most citizens are never allowed to travel freely, even within their own country, and unauthorized movement can result in harsh punishment. Most never leave their village, reinforcing the idea that there's no alternative to their way of life. The isolation is so complete that many North Koreans have never seen a city, let alone the outside world. Information is tightly controlled, no internet, only state-run media, and foreign news is forbidden. The government carefully crafts every message, ensuring that only its version of events reaches the people. Radios and TVs are locked to government channels, and even a foreign movie can mean prison. Secretly listening to outside broadcasts or watching smuggled films is a dangerous act of defiance. The result, a society where questioning the system is nearly impossible, and the state's version of reality is all most people ever know. Loyalty to the regime is not just expected, but demanded at every turn. Every day is shaped by anxiety, scarcity, and the need to comply. The constant pressure to conform leaves little space for hope or change. In North Korea, control is total, over bodies, minds, and futures. The state's grip is unyielding, shaping not just what people do, but who they are allowed to become. For Park Min-jun, a farmer living near the Chinese border, the day begins long before sunrise. The stillness of early morning is broken by the blaring of loudspeakers echoing through the village with government slogans and patriotic songs. After a meager breakfast of rice and pickled vegetables, he prepares for another demanding day. Park joins his brigade for hours of backbreaking labor in the fields, planting and harvesting by hand. Sometimes the work shifts abruptly. He and his neighbors are ordered to build military fences or dig trenches, their efforts redirected by the needs of the state. In the city of Sinwiju, factory worker Kim Young-hee faces a different but equally harsh reality. She must meet strict production quotas, often working long shifts with little rest, under the watchful eyes of supervisors. After her exhausting shift, Kim and her co-workers are required to attend mandatory political education sessions, where they listen to lectures and repeat party slogans, reinforcing loyalty to the regime. Evenings offer little respite. With electricity unreliable, Kim spends her nights in near darkness, relying on candles or small, battery-powered lamps to get by. In every home and public space, the ever-present gaze of the Kim's portrait serves as a constant reminder of authority, watching over daily life. Along the border, so-called propaganda villages stand as empty shells, buildings with painted facades meant to impress outsiders. Farmers working nearby are under constant surveillance, their movements closely monitored. Rituals of devotion to the state punctuate every day, bowing to portraits, attending mass rallies, and reciting loyalty pledges in public squares. These acts are not optional, but expected. Such routines are mandatory, reinforcing the message that the individual exists only to serve the collective and the supreme leader. Personal ambitions are set aside for the good of the nation. Whether in the city or countryside, life is a carefully choreographed performance. Survival depends on obedience, conformity, and constant vigilance, as even small mistakes can have serious consequences. The rhythms of daily life are dictated by politics, not by the changing seasons or personal choice. Every hour is scheduled, every action observed. In North Korea, every day is a reminder of who holds power and of the sacrifices ordinary people make to survive under the ever-watchful eyes of the regime. Propaganda saturates every corner of North Korean life. Portraits of the Kim's revolutionary banners and monumental statues dominate public spaces. Homes must display spotless portraits. Neglect is a political crime. The landscape itself is a stage for state messaging, projecting power and unity, even as poverty persists. Surveillance is everywhere. Neighbors monitor each other through the Inminban system, creating an atmosphere of distrust. A careless word or joke can lead to interrogation and punishment for entire families. Children are indoctrinated from kindergarten, taught to revere the Kim family and memorize revolutionary history. Education is less about learning and more about loyalty, with math and music lessons reinforcing state ideology. This system ensures that the regime's narrative is inescapable, shaping minds from the earliest age. In North Korea, propaganda and surveillance are the twin pillars of control. At the DMZ, North Korean soldiers live in a relentless cycle of vigilance, guarding a border that's both a barrier and a stage for the world's gaze. Every day they stand watch, eyes fixed on the south, knowing that any misstep could have grave consequences. The tension is constant, a silent pressure that shapes their lives and routines. Propaganda villages like Gyeongdong are facades, empty buildings, lights on timers, and workers maintaining an illusion for the south. These villages are designed to project an image of prosperity and normalcy, but behind the facade, they are hollow, rarely inhabited, and serve as a reminder of the ongoing psychological battle between the two Koreas. Along the Chinese border, fences and patrols have intensified, making escape nearly impossible. The border is now lined with barbed wire, watchtowers, and armed guards, all working to prevent any unauthorized crossings. Surveillance technology has increased and the risks for those who try to flee are higher than ever. For residents of cities like Sinuiju, China is visible but out of reach, a symbol of a different world. The bright lights and bustling life across the river offer a glimpse of freedom and opportunity, but for most, it remains a distant dream, separated by water, fences, and fear. Crossing the border is a deadly gamble, with guards ordered to shoot and harsh punishment for those caught. The consequences are severe, not just for escapees but often for their families as well, who may face imprisonment or worse as collective punishment. Yet this region is a lifeline for smuggled goods and forbidden information, fueling black markets and hope. Traders risk everything to bring in food, medicine, and news from the outside, creating underground networks that sustain entire communities. People here are more aware of the outside world, but face the harshest surveillance and risk. Secretly listening to foreign radio or watching smuggled media can mean a taste of freedom, but discovery can lead to brutal punishment. Daily life is a constant balancing act between state-mandated poverty and the pursuit of survival through illicit means. Families scrape by, relying on informal markets and whatever resources they can find, always wary of government crackdowns. The borderlands are a place of tension, danger, and fragile opportunity. Here, every decision carries weight, and the line between hope and despair is razor thin. Here, the struggle for freedom is both visible and perilous. In the shadow of division, every act of defiance, every attempt to connect with the outside world, is a testament to the resilience and courage of those who live on the edge. For most North Koreans, the Ukraine war is distant, filtered through propaganda that frames Russia as a heroic ally against the US. State media celebrates North Korea's support for Russia, supplying weapons and even sending personnel to the front lines. This involvement is a point of pride for the regime, but it strains the economy at home. Resources are diverted to military production, leading to smaller rations and more unpaid labor for ordinary people. The war's impact is felt in daily shortages and increased militarization, more drills, more rhetoric, and a heightened sense of threat. For young North Koreans, the conflict makes the prospect of military service feel more immediate and unavoidable. The regime uses the war to reinforce its narrative of sacrifice and vigilance in a hostile world. The distant conflict in Ukraine becomes another tool for control at home. North Korea's economy remains stagnant, factories idle, farms struggle, and official salaries are nearly worthless. The Jangmadang, or gray market, is where most people survive, selling homemade goods, trading, or smuggling. These markets are illegal but tolerated, always at risk of crackdowns and bribes. A privileged elite in Pyongyang enjoys imported goods and comforts, while most scrape by in poverty. The gap between the Donju, moneyed elites, and ordinary citizens is stark, visible in every aspect of daily life. Survival requires ingenuity and risk, with families relying on market activity or smuggling to get by. The state demands loyalty but cannot provide, forcing people into a double life. Obedient by day, rule breakers by necessity. This duality breeds cynicism and quiet resistance. For most, life is a constant negotiation with hardship and authority. In North Korea, economic survival is an act of defiance. North Korean youth know only Kim Jong-un as their leader. Their world is shaped by his cult of personality. Schools teach a glorified version of his life, blending standard subjects with relentless political indoctrination. Participation in youth organizations is mandatory, with activities focused on ideological training and state service. Free time is rare. Every hour is structured to mold loyal citizens. Despite this, foreign media, smuggled on USB sticks, offers glimpses of another world, sparking curiosity and doubt. The regime responds with harsh crackdowns, targeting anyone caught with outside content. Youth League patrols inspect devices and raid homes, turning entertainment into a dangerous act of rebellion. For young people, watching a foreign film is a risky assertion of individuality. Even under intense pressure, seeds of change and hope persist. As 2025 ends, North Korea's regime remains entrenched, its people worn down by daily struggle and isolation, yet hope endures, in small acts of defiance, in mothers selling noodles to buy medicine, in teenagers secretly watching forbidden dramas. These quiet rebellions are expressions of a spirit that refuses to be extinguished. The slow erosion of the state's information monopoly and the growth of the gray market economy are changing how people relate to the regime. Survival increasingly depends on self-reliance, not state handouts, fostering a subtle independence. North Korea's story is not just about politics, but about millions of individuals with dreams and resilience. The future is uncertain, but behind the regime's iron facade, a nation endures. People navigate their reality with dignity, holding on to hope for a different tomorrow. Change may be slow and uncertain, but the human spirit persists. In the shadows of control, North Koreans quietly dream of freedom.